This is Mission Control Houston. 8 days, 18 hours, 39 minutes into the flight of Integrity on the Artemis II mission. Here in the flight control room, Flight Director Rick Henfling and his team of entry flight controllers on duty, joined by spacecraft communicator Jackie Mahaffey. That's the voice you'll hear talking to the crew throughout the course of the day's activities through entry and through splashdown. Aboard Integrity, the astronauts, Commander Reed Wiseman, pilot Victor Glover, and mission specialists Christina Cook and Jeremy Hansen are wrapping up their post-sleep period, having an opportunity to review their morning mail, getting a bite to eat, and getting things set up for final cabin stowage of items no longer needed on this flight prior to the time they move into their entry checklist a few hours from now. The next major milestone will be 1 hour, 38 minutes from now. That will be the firing of the reaction control system thrusters on Integrity in what is called the RTC-3 burn, the return trajectory correction number 3 burn, the final in the series of mid-course correction maneuvers to fine-tune Integrity's path so that it reaches the center of the entry corridor at the orientation we want the vehicle in, as it approaches and enters the Earth's atmosphere at an altitude of 400,000 feet later today. This will be an 8-second burn to change the velocity of Integrity by 4.2 feet per second. And again, will be the final major maneuver of this mission. After we discard the European service module, this evening at 6:33 p.m. Central Time, a few minutes later, we'll conduct a raise burn, as it is called. That is a maneuver using Integrity's thrusters, about a 19-second burn that will lift the aft end of the vehicle and provide the final angle of attack that the spacecraft will be traveling in to reach the splashdown zone some 1,701 nautical miles from the point of entry interface. In the Pacific Ocean, the USS John P. Murtha is on station, ready to begin recovery operations once Integrity has splashed down. The splashdown is scheduled at 7:07 and 7 seconds p.m. Central Time, 5:07 p.m. Pacific Time, 2.5 hours before sunset. From launch to splashdown, Integrity and its 4 crew members will have traveled 694,481 miles. Communication with the crew on the voice loops will pick up considerably in the next short period of time here as we move out of the post-sleep period into the final hours of the cabin configuration, the preparations for the return trajectory correction burn, and then the crew moving into its entry checklist. All of Integrity's systems are in excellent shape. The latest weather forecast from the Spaceflight Meteorology Group here at the Johnson Space Center for the splashdown zone southwest of San Diego calls for winds at about 10 knots, wave heights less than 4 feet, wave periods, that's the periodic raise and subsidence of the waves against the spacecraft, that should be about 17 seconds in duration, just some broken and scattered clouds expected in the splashdown area. The weather is go, the vehicle is go, and we are set for splashdown 6 hours, 48 minutes, and 50 seconds from now. This is Mission Control Houston.
California weather watch. Today is April 10th. Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, California weather watch. Today is April 10th, and you might notice first thing the audio is a little different. I am not in my normal place. I'm in a hotel in Valencia, Spain. It's actually nighttime or the evening here, and I know that it's morning there on the west coast of North America. So forgive me, I didn't sleep last night. Flew all night to Amsterdam and then back into Valencia here this afternoon. So take a look at what is going on. You can see our storm system still off the coastline, and yeah, a lot of lightning there yesterday. Thousands of strikes. We had some supercellular features rolling across the area, some heavy rainfall, some gusty winds, and that storm system is going to kick off again another round of very strong storms as we go on in through the day today. And also, if you look to our north and west, out across the Gulf of Alaska, there goes our next storm system. It's going to move into place. It's going to be a colder storm. It's going to bring additional thunderstorm activity, some wave action, some gusty winds, some mountain snows, and we'll dive into those details here as we go through the video this morning. So take a look at where we are. Actually, this was yesterday, and we'll scroll through there, and again, a lot of lightning out across the region there, and this is only from about about 4 o'clock there yesterday afternoon. So it was ongoing for much of the day. You can see across the San Joaquin Valley, just widespread lightning going on here, even down to south of Bakersfield. Looks like the models did a pretty good job with that. And then you can see as we went through the overnight hours and on in through the morning today, you can see still thunderstorm activity ongoing. And this right here is going to start to kick off again some strong thunderstorms with some prolific lightning producers again here on the day today, especially in the afternoon and the evening hours. So we're looking at 500 millibars, approximately 18,000 feet. There's California. You can see our trough off the coastline, and there's our next system under development there across the Gulf of Alaska. So put that into motion. You can see that first trough is quickly becoming replaced with the second one. And again, that's going to bring some cold air aloft, some mountain snows. And that troughing is going to be with us all the way through early portions of next week. And then we'll see what that next system does. It looks like it slides into the Pacific Northwest. It looks like kind of an inside slider, but it does keep some of this troughing going here for the west coast of North America. And looking at the jet stream there, about 30,000 feet. Again, you can see that first trough. It's right there, and then the even colder system moves in here as we go through the weekend. And then there goes that next system for the Pacific Northwest. So taking a look at what the Doppler radar may look like here over the next 84 hours. Actually, this is the RRFS. So this is about 48 hours. And if we scroll through this morning, there's noon. Watch that stuff just pop up. There's about noon right there. And look at some of these storms, even towards the Bay Area. You can see Modesto, there's Fresno here, and again, the foothills of the Sierra Nevada, Sacramento Valley under the gun. Some of the coastal range are north of the Bay Area, all the way up towards, some extreme northwest California. And again, look at that one moving right, very close to Modesto and just north of Fresno there. And yeah, some very strong storms. Sacramento probably under the gun here today as well. And then we scroll on into the remainder of the evening, and you see some showers out there. And then we wait to see what happens on the day Saturday. Maybe some lightning strikes here, not quite as strong with these storms, but you can clearly see that next storm system rolling in here as we go through the day on Saturday. Look at some of these narrow cold frontal rain band segments. Some very heavy rainfall would be associated with that action. Some gusty winds. Look at that, just ripping down the central coast. Starts to lose its punch a little bit as it rounds Point Conception there and moves on into Southern California. But just see, we have additional cold frontal activity there for the Bay Area, and again, thunderstorm potential with that. And again, mountain snow for the higher terrain as well. And I'm going to keep scrolling out through here into Monday. So see some of the showers moving through. And then that kind of starts wrapping up there on the day Monday, it looks like. And looking at some of the wind speeds here, there's going to be some gusty winds. There could be gusty winds with some of these showers. They didn't have anything up for severe gusts, but they did have some hail. And you can't not rule out today the chance of even a brief tornado here with some of this activity. So if we take a look at updraft helicity, so this is basically rotating updrafts in these storms. So you can see pretty widespread stuff here. So some pretty strong storms rolling across the region. Again, would not be completely surprised to see a tornado or some funnel cloud reports on the day today. Definitely eyes on the sky if you're in the San Joaquin or the Sacramento Valley or the foothill areas. And heck, even towards the Bay Area, some of those rotating updrafts moving across the region. Now, This is not what I wanted to show here for the 500 millibar heights. We're going to skip past that. And the Bay Area is talking about some winter weather. They also retweeted Reno here, which sometimes does a good job with this. Look at the snow totals: 12 to 28 inches along the Sierra Crest, 6 to 10 for Sierra communities near lake level, Lake Tahoe, and then west of US 395. Some wind gusts 40 miles per hour with 80 to 100 across the ridge tops, and showers may linger on into Monday morning. So definitely chain control possibilities there, moderate risk overall. And you can see where the winter storm watch is for all the way on in through Sunday. So looking at that thunderstorm outlook, you can see we have some severe weather possible. This is only for hail. They didn't put anything out for, I don't think, for wind. No, they didn't. Or tornado. But again, these systems can produce tornadoes. And again, they're not usually the big EF2, EF3 tornadoes, but they can cause some damage. So heads up for that. And plus, these storms are going to be packing a punch with some prolific lightning, and the winds could still be a threat. So there's day 2 as the next system approaches the area, and then we go day 3 at kind of central California targeted there. Looking at 10-meter wind gusts, I'll scroll through this pretty quick, and you can see the European not really picking up on those ridgetop winds quite the same, and the winds aren't too bad here, but you could get some gusts up over 40 miles per hour as we go on into early next week. You can see that this next storm system a bit stronger, a little bit windier there, and when you start to get to the yellows, you're getting 50+ mile per hour gusts with that. So total precipitation in inches over the next 6 days. Again, there's storm 1, and then we got storm system number 2 rolling in. Again, bringing another round of precipitation there. And you can see the winner of this generally kind of the Sierra Nevada up into the Klamath Cascade Range here, some of the Coastal Range Bay Area getting some pretty decent amounts as well. And some of that activity will be moving into Southern California. You can see some of the transverse and where the Peninsula Range meets. You get up maybe inch and a half for some of the higher terrain associated with that action. Positive snow depth change in inches, just showing here, probably Saturday night into Sunday morning. Look at that snow start to pile up. I choose this one here because this is not a cherry-picked model. This is what we expect the snow to stick on the ground here. So some areas could be getting over a foot, maybe 2 feet for some select locations here as we go through, especially Saturday night and on in through Sunday morning. So we will definitely take that. We have been woefully below normal as far as snow water equivalent is concerned. So, yep, thumbs up for that. And there's the 6 to 10 day, kind of a near normal signal there, and above normal signal for much of the state. And we may be going into drought here a little bit more as we go on in through the next few weeks. So just kind of preparing you for that. That yellow there for California is drought development likely. And I'm on Facebook as well. What else? Hopefully you guys are prepared for the active weather again here today and tomorrow and Sunday, and the mountain snows, and also watch out for some of that wave action out there as well. So anyway, I will catch you guys in tomorrow's forecast.
This is Mission Control Houston at a mission elapsed time of 8 days, 18 hours, 58 minutes into the flight of Integrity on the Artemis II mission. On board the spacecraft, as we slowly but surely make our way back to Earth for a splashdown later this evening, the crew on board, Commander Reed Wiseman, Pilot Victor Glover, and mission specialists Christina Cook and Jeremy Hansen, are emerging from their post-sleep period. They are about to begin a private medical conference that has been planned all along with the flight surgeon here in Mission Control to make sure that there are no issues associated with their high-speed entry back to Earth later today, with splashdown scheduled at 7:07 and 7 seconds p.m. Central Time, 5:07 p.m. Pacific Time, 2.5 hours before sunset at the splashdown site off the coast of San Diego. And the vehicle is in excellent condition. It's very quiet here in the flight control room, no issues being worked as we count down toward the next milestone prior to entering the Earth's atmosphere, that being the return trajectory correction burn, this short 8-second firing of the reaction control system thrusters to change the velocity of Integrity by 4.2 feet per second and slightly adjust its orientation, fine-tuning its position to properly enter the entry corridor across the Pacific Ocean later today. That burn...
Integrity, you can normalize too.
In work.
That burn is scheduled at 1:53 p.m. Central Time, 2:53 p.m. Eastern Time. That'll be followed by the crew completing the configuration of the crew cabin for entry, stowing final items, and making sure all of their checklists and other post-splashdown devices that they will need are in the proper... making sure that all of their equipment is within arm's length after they splash down in the Pacific, waiting to be extracted from the vehicle by the recovery personnel that will be deployed from the USS John Murtha, which is on station out in the Pacific in the splashdown area. The weather forecast for splashdown is ideal. Winds just about 10 knots, wave heights less than 4 feet. Those are very benign conditions that will await Integrity's astronauts when they emerge from the spacecraft. Following splashdown, the 5 crew module uprighting system airbags will be inflated with helium to ensure that the spacecraft remains in an upright and rather benign situation as it bobs in the Pacific Ocean. This will expedite the ability of the recovery teams to erect a large raft called the front porch along the side of Integrity prior to the time that the hatches open and the crew is extracted from the vehicle that they have been aboard since April 1st for their launch for their lunar flyby. The heart of today's entry will begin.
Integrity Houston, some pre-burn SA for you. The Plus X flange heaters are on and prop avionics are configured.
Okay, we copy, Jackie.
Jeremy Hansen from the Canadian Space Agency acknowledging the call from Capcom Jackie Mahaffey. It is her voice that you'll be hearing throughout entry and splashdown, calling all the major milestones and talking to the crew when required. The heart of today's activities will begin about 5.5 hours from now when we hand over the communications link from the Deep Space Network to the Tracking and Data Relay Satellite System. That will come at 6:15 p.m. Central Time, followed about 18 minutes later when the crew module separates from the service module. At that point, the crew module will conduct a raise burn, as it is called. That is about a 19-second burn. That will be the final opportunity to more specifically dial in the flight path angle, the angle of attack before entry interface. That will use the roll thrusters on the command module, on the crew module. That angle of attack is particularly critical for this mission, so that we are mitigating any excessive buildup of heat on Orion's heat shield as it enters the Earth's atmosphere. At the point of peak heating, we are expecting temperatures to rise to about 5,000 degrees Fahrenheit. That will induce an ionization around the spacecraft called a plasma wave. This is typical for all spacecraft that enter the Earth's atmosphere. A blackout period of 6 minutes will begin at about